Hello and welcome back to the Sharlayan forum. My name is Chris, and today I wanted to do sort of an informal video just going over my thoughts on Viper so far in Dawntrail. I've had a chance to play Viper. It was the first job I got to 100. I always try to get to 100 and do the MSQ, or I guess I should say get to max and do the MSQ on one of the new jobs that's introduced. I've done that in every expansion that I could, at least. And I think Viper's a lot of fun. You know, at a base level, I think that it's a very busy job, that it's super fun to play. It's very fast. It feels very fast. It almost feels like you're in another melee job's burst window, but you're just in that window the entire fight. It's a little bit hectic. I have taken it into the extremes. So I've done both extremes on Viper at this point. And I think that in high-end content, this is going to be a job that a lot of people have a lot of fun with, but and it definitely does the numbers, but it's a little hard to keep up with at times, is my experience. So the first thing is, as much as I begrudgingly accept it, noxious gnash being 40 seconds, I think kind of sucks. I was an ardent 40-second defender when I first started playing the job, but now having done some work and endgame content, I really think that this is not very good. The main reason for that is that despite the fact that it's deceptively simple to play Viper, where the class kind of plays itself in a lot of ways, you're managing a lot of things on this job. It's not necessarily difficult to hit the buttons in the right order, but it's a little complicated to keep track of all the resources that you have. So my main gripe with this, I think that the main issue with Viper is communication. This job gauge is frankly completely dog shit. It's basically useless, except for these 3 diamonds telling you that you have uncoiled fury stacks to spend. Other than that, literally all it does is tell you which button to press if you have them on your hotbar in the right order. So all that this is telling me right now, since both of these are flashing, is that I can press either left or right. It doesn't matter. So I can press 1 and then it's going to say same thing. Oh, you can hit left or right. Doesn't matter. So I'll do that. And then the next time, now that it does matter because I'm missing a buff, it's going to say, hey, hit the right one this time. So literally this is just, all this is doing is communicating the same dotted flashing lines that the hotbar already communicates. And I think that that's worthless. It's essentially meaningless. It does nothing for me. What I wish instead is that this job gauge was gone and I could just make these diamonds the size of my entire screen so that I don't miss Uncoiled Fury anymore. I overcap this resource constantly because it's really difficult to keep up with this debuff, your 2 buffs from your combos, keep up with your cooldowns, keep up with your rotation, know when to hit your Serpent's Ire, and the fact that almost all of these things generate stacks of this ability. You have to hit this way more often than you think you do. And that's really complicated, and it's not like, again, it's not difficult in the sense that this job is hard to play. It's not hard to play. It's a very simple job to understand at a basic level, but it's a very difficult job to feel like I'm taking full advantage of every damage opportunity, because every time I look away to focus on a mechanic, I lose something. Whether that's I drop the debuff by accident and I don't realize it, or I drop one of my, well, I don't really drop the buffs. Those pretty much maintain themselves. Those are not an issue. These 2 buffs that come from your basic combo, anybody that complains about those, I think they're just wrong. Those are not a problem. These positionals on these finishers are also not a problem. I really think that the crux of the issue comes from noxious gnash and uncoiled fury. Those are the 2 points on this job that have given me the most pain, where I will accidentally drop this without realizing it, or I will overcap Uncoiled Fury because of just how many sources generate these stacks. So what would I do to change it? I think the number one thing that I would do is probably just remove the generation of Rattling Coil from Serpent's Ire. I think that that's mostly unnecessary. I think that it was a tacked on thing that they did just to give the button an extra benefit that I don't think it needs. I think just giving this a free reawaken is fine. Either that or find some way to communicate that this is stacked more effectively so that you're not overcapping. It's very complicated to keep up with how many of these you have at a time. And I think that again has a lot to do with the job gauge, because this is basically so meaningless for me to look at. I never look at it, which means I never see these diamonds being full, which means I overcap my resources. So this whole situation just needs a redesign. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe these communicate more effectively if there's a flank or a rear positional, so I'm inclined to look at it more often, because right now they don't communicate that at all. So the only way for me to know if I'm having a flank or rear positional on my finisher right now is to look at the button itself on the hotbar. Green is flank, and then the red finishers, these two, are rears. I really think that it's a little bit confusing to me that they didn't think to just have that be on this anyway. And it would literally be as simple as, if you use your red second step, these bars glow red instead of blue. And if you use your yellow second step, they glow green instead of blue. It would literally be that easy. And it would make me look at this way more often. And it would make me realize that these diamonds are stacked a lot more often. So I would not overcap my Uncoiled Fury nearly as often. Outside of that, I think that the job is super fun. Noxious Gnash, I think 40 seconds. I'm not sure. I think that could just be like a skill expression thing that I'm missing. Very likely. I mean, I'm still learning the job. It's been out for 2 weeks, and there's a lot of discourse right now about Viper because of the changes that Yoshi P talked about in that blog post, where they're talking about easing positional requirements and reducing busyness. I really think that the positionals are the last thing that this job needs to be worried about. It's essentially meaningless. It adds a little potency, like any other job, but it's not like if I don't hit this positional, I lose 50 potency if I don't hit the positional on these. It's not like if I don't hit them, I don't get my OGCDs or something. So it's pretty inconsequential. It's 100 potency for the entire thing if I don't hit it. Whatever, I don't think that that's a big deal. If they were connected to the OGCDs or something, it would be a lot different. As of right now, I really think that that's not the pain point on Viper. I really think that this job gauge, or even if we look at it in the non-simple mode, it just doesn't communicate very effectively. This one is fine. The Serpent offering is fine. It glows when you got number, which is fine. But I feel like if I want this to be effective, I need it to be this big, and it needs to be like right in the center of my screen, so that I never miss these diamonds again. Because it just feels like I'm leaving stuff on the table whenever I play this, which is a little bit frustrating. And it's just kind of annoying design. They need to invent a way that I want to look at this a lot more so that I know when this is happening. Either that or have like a very distinct audio cue when I hit 3 stacks so that I know, hey, when I hear that sound, I know that I'm ready to dump some Uncoiled Furies or I'm going to overcap. Because right now it just makes the same sound that this makes when it hits 50 gauge. The standard little swing sound that it makes, which is not enough. It needs to be either completely distinct, audibly completely distinct, or this gauge needs to be redesigned so that I want to look at it more. I'm not sure, but I think that other than that, Viper feels really good to play. It's super fast. It's super fun. I love it. It's a job that I think I will continue to play. But I think that there's just some things on it that could use a pass, just something to make them a little bit more user friendly. And again, none of them are like completely game breaking, dastardly, diabolical things. But it just feels kind of bad to overcap. Because I'm focused so much on keeping this debuff up. I'm focused so much on making sure that debuff is up before I reawaken. I'm focused so much on hitting this every 2 minutes. I'm focused on using my Dreadwinder charges. I'm focused on hitting my OGCDs in the right order so that I get those potency bonuses. And when all of that's happening, the last thing I'm looking at is this job gauge down here that tells me nothing except for if I have these stacks. So I think that that's the first pain point that I would address. Other than that, I think that Viper's great. It feels incredible to play at 100. The Reawaken is super potent. I mean, this is so much damage so quickly. And it's fun, man. It's so fun to hit these buttons like this. It's just go fast mode. And the animations and sounds are incredible. It's a super cool job. So if they can iron out the kinks and figure out how to make these things communicate a little bit more effectively, I think that we've got a real banger of a job on our hands. So that's it for this one. And thanks for watching and listening to me ramble. And I will catch you on the next one.